You know, we live in a world that is just obsessed with results, hitting targets, getting the win, achieving the next big thing. But what if that constant chase is actually the very thing causing all our stress? Let's dive into an ancient philosophy that offers a pretty radical way out. I mean, really think about it for a second. That promotion you're after, that number you want to see on the scale, that project you have to nail. When we tie our happiness directly to outcomes that we can't 100% control, we're basically signing up for a nonstop roller coaster of anxiety and, let's be honest, a lot of disappointment. Yeah, this is what you could call the outcome trap. We push and push, we worry constantly. And then, when things don't go exactly as planned, we feel like a failure. But there's a way to break this cycle. And to understand it, we need to go way back to a pretty dramatic origin story. So to find the solution, we have to travel back about 2,300 years. And we're not going to a quiet classroom, but to a total catastrophe out on the open sea, because this is where the story of Stoicism really begins. So I want you to meet Zeno of Citium. He was a rich, successful merchant. On a voyage to Athens, a massive storm hits, sinks his ship, and his entire fortune goes down with it. He loses everything. With nothing left, he wanders into an Athenian bookshop, picks up a book about Socrates, and is totally captivated. He asks the bookseller, "Where can I find a man like that?" And right there, from that moment of total, catastrophic loss, Zeno began a new journey. He eventually started teaching his own philosophy in a public marketplace called the Stoa, which is how Stoicism got its name. And this is so important to understand. Stoicism wasn't born from some comfy armchair theory. It was forged in the fire of a real-world disaster. It's a toolkit for resilience, built on the hard-won understanding that sometimes the worst can and will happen. So, what is this secret? What's the core idea? Well, it all boils down to one incredibly powerful, life-altering principle the Stoics called the Dichotomy of Control. Now, the guy who wrote this, Epictetus, has a story of his own. He was born a slave. He rose to become one of the most respected Stoic philosophers of his time. This guy knew firsthand what it meant to have things outside of his control. And these words, they are the absolute bedrock of Stoicism. This right here just lays it all out so clearly. I mean, look at these two columns. We waste so much time and energy on the column on the right, worrying about what other people think of us, stressing about the final outcome, trying to manage every little detail of our reputation. The Stoics argue our focus should be almost entirely on the left side. Our effort, our choices, our integrity. That's where our real power is. And to make this idea even more concrete, the Stoics use this perfect metaphor, the archer. Now, this isn't about ignoring the target. It's about completely redefining what success actually means. Think about it. An archer controls their training, the quality of their bow and arrows, their stance, their breath, their focus, right up to the exact moment they release the arrow. But once that arrow is flying through the air, they control absolutely nothing. A sudden gust of wind, a bird flying by, it's all out of their hands. So for a Stoic archer, success isn't hitting the bullseye. Success is doing every single step within your control as perfectly as you possibly can. Okay, so that all sounds great for ancient philosophers, but how do we actually use this in our messy modern lives? The key is to shift our goals, to internalize them, move them from external outcomes to internal actions. Here is a goal I'm sure a lot of us have had. I will get the promotion. But notice, it's 100% focused on an outcome that depends on so many other people. Your boss, your coworkers, the company's budget. You just don't fully control it. Now, look at the Stoic version. I will perform my duties with excellence and prepare the best I can. This is a goal that is entirely within your control. Can you do your job with excellence today? Yes. Can you prepare your absolute best today? Yes. Suddenly, you're not waiting around for someone else to tell you you're successful. And that's where it all clicks. Your success is no longer some far-off event you're hoping for. It becomes a daily practice. You can literally succeed every single day just by showing up and giving your best honest effort, no matter what the final outcome is. And let me tell you, that is an absolute game changer for building real confidence and self-respect. Okay, but let's be real. What happens when things go completely sideways, despite our best efforts? Well, the Stoics had a tool for that too. A way to embrace uncertainty without just giving up. They called it the reserve clause. Think of it like a little mental footnote you add to every single plan you make. I will do this, fate permitting. It's just a quiet, humble acknowledgement that the world is unpredictable, and that some things are always going to be out of your hands. And I want to be really clear here. This is not an excuse to be passive or to not try. It's the exact opposite. It's what allows you to go all in and act boldly. Because your ego isn't wrapped up in getting a specific result. You become so much more resilient because a setback isn't some deep personal failure anymore. It's just the world doing its thing. And if you need proof of just how powerful this mindset can be, look no further than this. While he was imprisoned for 27 years, Nelson Mandela was smuggled a copy of Meditations by the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, and it profoundly shaped his thinking. Mandela knew he couldn't change the past. He couldn't change the fact that he was in prison. But he could control his response. He chose forgiveness over bitterness. He chose reconciliation over revenge. His Stoic mindset didn't just help him survive an unimaginable ordeal. It empowered him to change the entire world. And that's because at the end of the day, for the Stoics, the promotion, the money, the win, those were never the real prize. The ultimate goal, the only true good, was virtue. It was about who you were becoming in the process of striving. Were you wise? Were you fair? Were you courageous? Were you self-controlled? That was the only scorecard that truly mattered. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. We're all taught to chase success like it's some destination we have to arrive at. But the Stoics teach us that maybe true success isn't a trophy you put on a shelf. Maybe it's the character you build, day by day, by focusing on the only thing you ever really control: your effort, your choices, and your own integrity. What would change for you if you started living that way right now?